Part 21. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 201. Jiyan and Zunti, the more they fight, the more miserable they become. While teaching, Tongtian calculated the time. Zhongluer, the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi in Journey to the West, should also be born. The plan was so big, but he was waiting for it. However, in this reincarnation, Jin Shanzi lost his memory due to the changes in Tongtian, and is now a brand new person. Let Wuxian and Jiyan Zunti go to war, except for letting Jin Shanzi reincarnate and lose his memory. I even want to cut him off. The huge price paid by Jiyan and Zhenjia gave Jin Shanzi a bright purple air. Tongtian can conclude that they will never be willing to find a giant Buddha to be reincarnated again. So even if he disappears and reincarnates Jin Shanzi's true spirit consciousness, Jiyan and Zunti will still find him on his journey to the west. Although Sun Wukong is the protagonist of Journey to the West, the greater protagonist is the reincarnation of Golden Shanzi. Sun Wukong is one of the reverse journeys to the west, but the reincarnation of Golden Shanzi is also one of them. A great will manifests a phantom. Tongtian, why are you manifesting the shadow of an unknown Taoist? Could it be that you are preparing to help your disciple? Tongtian said curiously. My two disciples are enough to deal with Jiyan and Zunti, so why should I help them? I have other plans. Tongtian smiled and waved his hand. The manifested shadow of the unknown Taoist left the Chaos Tianhe formation directly. Soon, the shadow of the unknown Taoist turned into an ordinary person and entered the human race. After Jin Shanzi reincarnated, transformed into a human race. But when he was born, he was thrown into the river. Later, he was rescued by a Western monk who taught the manifestation of the great Buddha. Then Jin Shanzi entered Buddhism, and when he became an adult, Jin Shanzi's previous life was revealed to him. The spiritual consciousness awakened and allowed him to start the journey to the west. However, this was the journey to the west in the previous life. Now, Jiyan and Zunti have no chance to arrange these, because they are being beaten. The shadow of the unknown Taoist manifested in Tongtian, after entering the human race, turned into an ordinary Taoist. He reincarnated Jin Shanzi and adopted him. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 years have passed. In these 10 years, the unknown Taoist who manifested in Tongtian did not teach Jin Shanzi any skills. However, he taught him the moral principles of Jijiao. For many years the current reincarnation of Jin Shanzi has been brainwashed by the moral principles of Jijiao. Although Tongtian has not yet accepted him as his disciple, the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi fully believes in the moral principles of Jijiao. Zhongluer, I'm going to go today. In the future, you will have a big opportunity, but if people know that you are related to me, this big opportunity will not fall on you. Therefore, before I leave today, seal up all the memories of me in your mind. One day, when your great opportunity comes, I will unlock your seal, and then you can also join my sect. My name is Tongtian, and I am the leader of the sect. In a house of the human race, after Tongtian finished speaking, he used the power of a great avenue to seal the memory of Jin Shanzi's reincarnation. Then, he left directly in the air. Tongtian, this plan of yours really sucks the fire out of the pot. Cultivate Zhongluer, let him learn the moral principles of Jijiao, and then seal him up, waiting for Yin and Zunti to come again to find him on his journey to the west, and then wait until the journey to the west is completed to unlock his memory. I'm afraid that this reward will lead to betrayal of the Western religion on the spot. After watching it for more than 10 years, Nuwa finally understood what Tongtian's plan was for going to such trouble. At this moment, Nuwa's face was full of admiration. If she hadn't watched this kind of plan for more than 10 years, she would still be here. I really can't understand it, and I can't even imagine it. The two Taoist friends Jiyan and Zunti from the Western religion are afraid that they will be tricked to death by you. Nuwa smiled and said. By the way, Tong Tian, your two disciples have been fighting with Ji Yinzunti for more than 10 years. The two Taoist friends Ji Yinzunti are becoming more and more invincible. If they are beaten to death by your disciples, your calculations will be terrible. It's all in vain. Nuwa said after taking a look at the western Jiaoling mountain. Speaking of the battle between Ji Yinzunti and the Wuxian ape, it has been almost 15 years now since the ape joined the battle. This in the past 15 years, Ji Yin and Zunti have never had the upper hand. Not only have they never had the upper hand, it can even be said that they have been beaten more and more frequently. Now that the two of them are in a physical state, it is no longer enough to use wolf. It was unbearable to describe it. It could only be described as horrific. And the head was dripping with blood. Either it was a hole smashed by the Black Lotus, or it was a hole blasted by the sky-raising stick. Now the origin of the two people's avenue is getting weaker and weaker. If the war continues, within 100 years, the origins of the two people's avenues are likely to be blown to pieces. At that time, Ji Yin and Zunti will truly fall. Ji Yin and Zunti are so good. I have been beaten for 15 years. At least he can fight back once, and this scene won't be so boring. This battle has been one-sided since the entry of the Brachiosaurus. After watching it for 15 years, all the great masters in the ancient world finally felt a little bored. It's not that the battle is not good looking. The main thing is that Ji Yin and Zunti are too rubbish. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 202. In Zixiao Palace. Hung Jun frowned. Hung Jun had naturally noticed the battle on the western Jiaoling mountain. The four great Dao realms started a war, and the war lasted for more than 10 years. The damage done to Honghuang cannot be described in words. Originally, Hung Jun thought that it would be over after 2 or 3 years at most. Unexpectedly, it has been more than 10 years now, and looking at this pace, it is far from the end. If the battle in the realm of the four great Daos lasts for 100 years, the ancient land will be damaged even more seriously. This is undoubtedly what Hung Jun does not want to see. At the same time, the calamity is approaching, if the journey to the west does not begin. That would be more terrifying. I, a second disciple of the Western religion, are really rubbish. The establishment of religion and enlightenment was many years before Wuxian and Tong Jaiwang Hao, but now, they were beaten so miserably. Forget it, it seems that I can only appear in person to stop this battle. Hung Jun thought in his heart, as long as his two disciples are useful, he will not be asked to come forward in person every time. Hung Jun said helplessly. His body fell across the sky in the void of Lingshan Mountain in the west. Stop. An indifferent voice came out. In an instant, it attracted the attention of many great powers in the prehistoric times. Daozu. Daozu actually appeared. Looking at the rhythm, is Daozu trying to stop the battle? Ji Yin and Zunti really have a good teacher. Otherwise, they would definitely die in the end of this battle. The great masters of the prehistoric times said. The indifferent voice came out, and the power of heaven showed up in the void. Ji Yin and Zunti, who were seriously injured, were overjoyed when they saw Hung Jun appear. After being beaten for more than 10 years, Ji Yin and Zunti had had enough. They were thinking that if Hung Jun appeared, they would be saved. Wuxian, Tong armed ape, Tao ancestor is here to stop the war, why don't you stop? Ji Yin shouted at Wu Tian and Tong Jiuxiang. What are the personalities of Wu Tian and Tong Jiuxiang? One is murderous, and the other is extremely fierce. How can two masters be so obedient? Ji Yin shouted, but it was as if Tian and the Brachiosaurus had not heard anything at all. The violent power of the avenue and the power of the murderous avenue continued to explode. They bombarded the two of them repeatedly. The two of them received a blow and instantly I'm all confused. I'm going, Dao ancestor is here, and you still fight? Didn't you hear that Dao ancestor asked us to stop? You don't even give me the face of Dao ancestor? To be honest, throughout the 9 heavens and 10 lands of the prehistoric era, Wuxian and the apes, except for obeying Tongtian's orders, they will not obey anyone's orders. Even Daozu is the same. If you say you don't give face, you don't give face. Damn it, these Wuxian and Viper are really violent. He didn't even give Daozu face. Tisk, tisk, awesome. In the entire prehistoric period, the only people who violated the Taoist ancestors, apart from the once unknown Taoist, were these two. All the powerful people in the ancient world were surprised. Wuxian, Tong-armed ape, you two are really brave. Daozu shouted to stop, how dare you not listen. Wuxian, the monkey, you two, stop it immediately. Jiyan and Zunti shouted loudly again and again. Stop. What a joke, until you two die today, we two will never give up. So what if Daozu comes? We don't listen to Tao ancestors' orders. Wuxian and ape shouted arrogantly. Jiyan and Zunti were stunned. At this pace, are they going to beat us to death in front of Dao ancestor? This is too cruel. Domineering, really domineering. In front of Daozu, he directly threatened to beat his disciple to death. Tisk tisk, horrified. The great masters of the prehistoric era looked shocked again. Honghuang, who was fierce in the void, had a stiff expression on his face, which was very ugly. The reason was for no other reason than that Wuxian and the Viper were too arrogant and arrogant. Those words just now did not affect them at all. It means putting it in your eyes. Putting aside his identity as the Taoist ancestor and the leader of the heavenly way. After all, I, Honghuang, can be regarded as your master. You are so disrespectful to your master. If you say you are not angry in your heart, it is a lie. But no matter what, Wuxian and the ape are both in the realm of the great Dao. It's useless to be angry. Do you really want to use the power of one realm to deal with Wuxian and the ape because of your anger? But that's a good deal. Hongzhen's face darkened. Shen then shouted to Wuxian and Tong Jiwang, how Wuxian, Tong Abiaha, can you and the other two give me a face? This war ends here, no more attacks. Hongzhen, I just said, if you want us to stop, no problem, let your two disciples die, the thong-armed ape yelled coldly. Yes, today, unless our teacher comes here, no one can stop us too. Jiyan and Zunti will die, Wuxian also shouted in a cold voice. Damn, awesome. This is not just a denial of face, but a direct slap in the face. Tisk tisk, forget it, Wuxian and Tong Jiwang how can be regarded as disciples and grandsons, and now they have beaten their master's face. This scene is wonderful. This scene is much better than the beatings of Jiyan and Zunti. I wonder what Dao ancestor will do when Wu Tian and Tong Ji ape slap each other in the face like this. Should he get angry directly or let these two teachers come here? The great masters of the prehistoric era were both surprised and curious. The existence of the dignified Taoist ancestor and the leader of Tiandao was slapped in the face. Naturally, Hongzhen felt extremely uncomfortable. This is also someone else's disciple, but someone else's disciple is so fierce. But his two disciples watched helplessly as their teacher was slapped in the face. Hongzhen was very angry with Wu Tian and Tong Jixiang, but he was even more angry with Jiyan and Zunti. Because Jiyan and Zunti were too useless. Originally, if it wasn't for Hongzhen's fault, he wouldn't be slapped in the face here. But it's all because of the two useless disciples Jiyan and Zunti. Hongzhen glanced at Jiyan and Zunti coldly. Jiyan he and Zunti immediately felt Hongzhen's angry eyes. They were still thinking, what happened to the teacher? It was not us who slapped him in the face, so why did he get angry more than us? Hongzhen was annoyed. But absolutely not will easily use the power of one realm. It seems that the only choice is to let my disciple Tong Tian come here. Otherwise, the war will not stop today. Where is my disciple Tong Tien? Come to Lingshan quickly. Hung Jun's holy voice of heaven passed through the sky and spread directly throughout the void. Let me go, Taoist Hung Jun actually invited Tong Tien. Tisk tisk, the dignified Taoist ancestor is helpless. I need to invite someone. The great masters of the prehistoric times said in shock. The holy voice of the way of heaven spread throughout the prehistoric times. Among the Jijiao, Tong Tien Nuwa naturally also knew about it. Tong Tien, the teacher has never been like this before. Today, you two disciples have made the teacher very embarrassed, Nu Wa said with a sweet smile on her face. He knew very well that his two disciples were lawless. Tong Tien was not surprised at all when he slapped Tao ancestor in the face. Hung Jun had already spoken out, and it was impossible for the two of them to continue fighting. After all, Tong Tien is still waiting for the Western sect to start the journey to the West, completely reverse the journey to the West, and complete the second reverse reform of the prehistoric times. The teacher wants my two disciples to stop fighting, so why should I come to Lingshan? Wuxian, the battle between the three-armed apes ends here and there is a long way to go. Now you can go back each other. Tong Tien's voice spread through the void. It immediately fell on the ears of Wuxian and Tong Jia. For other people's words, Wuxian and Tong Jia could ignore them. But for Tong Tien's words, all they had was absolute obedience. Follow your orders, teacher. Wuxian and Tong Jiao stopped together and bowed in the void in the direction of Ji Xiao. Then, the two of them said to Jian and Zunti, our teacher has spoken out, and you are lucky today. However, we will definitely take your lives in the future. Wuxian and the ape said fiercely towards Jian and Zunti, and then left directly in the air. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 203. This leader of the Ji sect is more effective than the Taoist patriarch. Daozu repeatedly tried to dissuade him, but all he got was a slap in the face. However, Saint Tong Tien told them to go back with just one word. The great masters of the prehistoric era were secretly surprised. Facing the threats from Wuxian and the ape, Jian and Zunti, their expressions were not as ugly as usual. However, they could not defeat others, so they could only listen to the threats. No dare to reply even half a sentence. If Wuxian and Tong Jia are angered by replying a few words and start fighting again, they will be in pain. Although Wuxian and Tong Jia have stopped fighting, Hung Jun's face is still ugly. Just now but he summoned his disciple Tong Tien to come to Lingshan to stop the battle. Although the battle had stopped, Tong Tien did not come to Lingshan. My disciple and my disciple are all difficult to train. Well. Hung Jun sighed ruthlessly. Then, Hung Jun looked at Jian and Zunti. The two of them were getting angrier and angrier. To be honest, Hung Jun had an idea in his heart at this moment that he wanted to give the two of them a good whipping. You two are troublemakers who cause nothing but trouble. It's okay to cause trouble, but it can't be dealt with. Although I want to encourage others, the calamity of journey to the West is approaching. This matter concerns the entire prehistoric period and there is no room for error. Today you started a big war and ended up in this place of void and chaos. I have written this down for you two in advance. If you dare to make mistakes again during your journey to the West, I will definitely punish you severely. Hung Jun shouted coldly and flew away in the air. Jian and Zunti froze in place. What's going on? Are we going to war wantonly? Are we willing? Why is it that the blame is shouldered on us even though it is said to be on our backs? It's really not that we want to start a war. If we can, we are told not to start a war, even if we haven't seen Wuxian and the ape. The two of them are very speechless in their hearts. But Hung Jun is the leader of the Taoist Tiandao, so he dares to speechless. Disciple, Please obey your teacher's orders. The two of them bowed to Void and said. Then, the two of them glanced at Lingshan and Lingshan Void. Needless to say, Lingshan Void was full of traces of their beatings. And in Lingshan, because of the four statues in the Great Dao realm, I wonder if there is anyone protecting Lingshan. Now it is in a state of disarray. All spiritual energy and spiritual objects are cut off. What's worse, many Buddhists in Lingshan were directly beaten in this battle. The smoke disappeared. Jiyin and Zunti felt really painful in their hearts. Looking at the scene in front of them, the two of them were sad for a long time. At this time, Zunti suddenly thought of the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi more than 10 years ago. Senior brother, the last time that Jin Shanzi was attacked by a mysterious person, his true spirit consciousness was broken. I don't know what he is like now, Zunti said with panic. When he mentioned Jin Shanzi, Jiyin's expression also changed. Jin Shanzi is the protagonist of Journey to the West. What's more, they also gave Jin Shanzi Honghuang purple qi. Last time the mysterious power that suddenly appeared suddenly broke Jin Shanzi's true spirit consciousness. It was just that the true spirit consciousness was broken. At most, there was no memory. The Honghuang purple qi was still in the body. As long as they had a degree or two, they would still have it. You can also make them become members of the Western religion. But if something happens, Jin Shanzi is no longer there, Hongmengziki is no longer there. Then their Western religion will just cry their eyes out. Junior brother, the two of us quickly use our magical powers to search for the reincarnation of the golden cicada. Jin Shanzi's reincarnation is a big deal and there must be no accidents, said one after another. Yes, senior brother, Zunti nodded. Jiyin and Zunti didn't care about their injuries at the moment. Speaking of their injuries, they were miserable. However, they were worried about Jin Shanzi and Hongmengziki. The two of them were worried about Jin Shanzi and Hongmengziki. Everyone is in the realm of the Great Dao. Although the human race is now the mainstream of the ancient times. Under the power of the Great Dao, they observed all the races in just a blink of an eye. Finally, the two found the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi in a deep mountain. Jin Shanzi's reincarnation looked good without any accidents, and Hongmengziki was still in him. In an instant, Jiyin and Zunti felt at ease. As long as Jin Shanzi and Hongmengziki did not have any accidents, Journey to the West would not happen. It's absolutely safe. There won't be too many changes when the West is prospering. Junior brother, this golden Shanzi has lost his true spirit consciousness. It seems that only a few great Buddhas in the sect can guide him, Jiyin said. What the senior brother said makes sense, but who does the senior brother think is appropriate to send? Quan asked. We don't have many giant Buddhas in our sect anymore. Otherwise, leave them to Guanyin and Manjushri, Jiyin thought for a while and said. So good. Zunti nodded. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the Great Way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyun. Chapter 204. Avalokitesvara and Manjusri are none other than those who have become gods at different levels. A disciple of Chanjiao who was extradited from Xixiao Palace by Jiying and Zunti. In the previous life of Guanyin, she was a Taoist named Sahang. And Manjushri is the Manjushri Guangfa Heavenly Lord who explains the teachings. Manjusri, I leave this matter of educating Jin Shanzi to you. How about leaving the matter of extraditing him to the westward journey to me in the future? Master Guanyin said to Manjushri Bodhisattva. Since Guanyin said this, how could Manjusri refuse? That's it over there. After Manjusri finished speaking, he transformed into a monk and went to the mountain where Jin Shanzi was reincarnated. The monk transformed by Manjusri pretended to be a profound Buddhist being. My Buddha is merciful. My little friend, you are destined to join my Buddhist school. Are you willing to join my Buddhist school? Manjusri said after arriving next to Jin Shanzi's reincarnation. Zhang Luer. Speaking of Jin Shanzi's reincarnation, Zhang Lu'er. He was originally adopted by the unknown Taoist incarnation of Tongtian, and taught the teachings of Zhijiao for many years. But when he left, Jin Shanzi, the memory of the reincarnated Zhang Lu'er was sealed. Jin Shanzi's reincarnation as Zhang Lu'er always felt that something was missing. But what exactly was missing, he could not remember. Buddhism. What is that for? Zhang Lu'er said to Manjusri very curiously. Buddhism educates the world and saves people to do good, Manjusri laughed. To educate the world? Educate Chinese people to be kind. When Zhang Lu'er heard these two sentences, a flash of inspiration suddenly appeared in his mind, but before he could feel what the flash of inspiration was about to express, it disappeared. My little friend, if you join my Buddhist sect, I can guarantee that you will become a great Buddha, Manjusri then laughed and said. The position of the Buddha? What is that? Zhang Lu'er asked. The position of the great Buddha is the honorable position of our religion. The achievement of the honorable position controls thousands of fortunes and will live forever and never go through reincarnation, Wenchu said. Zhang Lu'er still didn't nod, and there still seemed to be questions in his eyes. Wenchu came to save Zhang Lu'er, but he didn't just listen to him asking 100,000 whys. He had already asked several questions, but Zhang Lu'er still, when he was about to ask, Manjusri immediately became a little impatient. Suddenly, a powerful force was exerted in the secret, and said with a bewitching voice, my little friend, come into my Buddhist door. Buddhism is your destination and the beginning of everything. If an ordinary person were to be bewitched by Manjusri, he would definitely enter Buddhism. But it is a pity. Zhang Lu'er has Hongmeng purple qi. Hongmeng purple qi is the beginning of the Hunyuan Dao. How can Manjusri, a great Luo Jingxian, bewitched? Zhang Lu'er possesses the Hongmeng purple qi. Unless it's Jian and Zunti, it's almost the same. Why is entering Buddhism your destination? It's great for me to experience heaven and earth on this mountain all day long. Zhang Lu'er looked at Wenchu with an innocent look and asked. Wenchu's head was about to get big in an instant. He thought extradition would be a very simple matter. But he thought too well. This matter, not simple at all. Senior, please answer me quickly, why do you say that my destination is to enter your Buddhist sect? Why did your voice sound wrong to me just now? Zhang Lu'er then asked. Manjusri's head is even bigger. Brainwashing is not possible, nor is it bewitchment. How can this be played? Wenchu can't play with it? Wenchu's body flashed and left in the air. Why is this Buddhist senior gone? He hasn't explained it to me yet. Zhang Lu'er looked curious when he saw Manjusri leaving. Manjusri, why did you come back so soon? Aren't you extraditing the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi? When Guanyin saw Manjusri returning, her face was very curious. This, Manjusri frowned stiffly. What's the matter? What's wrong with Manjusri? Guanyin looked surprised. Guanyin, I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to extradite this Zhang Lu'er. Why don't you give it a try, Manjusri Dao? Is it difficult to extradite him? Guanyin paused. Although he was very curious in his heart, what made Manjusri say such a thing? But the two leaders sent them out, but they warned them that there must be no accidents in this matter. It must be completed. Okay, then Manjusri, please wait a moment, I will go and extradite you. Guanyin flew across the sky. After a while, he arrived at the mountain where Zhang Lu'er was. My little friend, our Buddhist sect has thousands of great Buddha statues, as well as thousands of supreme and wonderful Dharma, which can lead to enlightenment and immortality. Are you willing to join our Buddhism? Guanyin asked Zhang Lu'er with a smile. Buddhism again. This senior, are you together with the previous senior? Zhang Lu'er asked seriously. Guanyin said very patiently, yes, that person is the Buddhist Bodhisattva with me. My little friend, Manjusri should have told you that if you join my Buddhism, you will achieve the status of a great Buddha. The senior said it, but I don't understand, why do you want me to go to your Buddhist school? Why do you want to achieve your honorable status? I feel like I'm in this mountain, it's pretty good. My friend, this senior, I want to ask, are you a boy or a girl? If you are a man, why do you dress up as a woman? If you are a man, why do you have thick eyebrows and big feet like me? Zhang Luer said to Guanyin. Zhang Luer's previous questions were nothing to Guanyin. But the last question directly made Guanyin storm away. He is a dignified Taoist Sahang, a true man with 8 principles, but since the list of gods, he gradually became more feminine. And no matter how he tried to stop it, he couldn't stop it. Even the 2 leaders tried, but they couldn't change it. Now that he looked neither male nor female, he really felt uncomfortable. Especially, every time someone asked this question, Guanyin's thoughts were extremely confused. Without a few days of recovery, he would never be able to regain his composure. Well, this sentence directly drove Guanyin away. In Western religions, continue Yin and Zunti were originally recovering from their injuries. But in order to prevent any accidents regarding Jin Shanzi, they watched it specially. But unexpectedly, Manjusri and Guanyin were so unreliable. Junior brother, it seems that we are the only ones to take action personally. If we relied on Manjusri and Guanyin, I might have missed the journey to the west this time. Ji Yin said. Yes, let us personally take action over there. Zunti nodded. Originally, in Journey to the West, Ji Yin and Zunti did not appear at all, because at that time there were so many talents in Western teachings that there was no need for them to appear. But now, talents are not mentioned, and everything is beyond Ji Yin. He's Zunti's expectation. They could only let them go on their own. A Taoist manifested himself and went directly to the mountain where Jin Shanzi was reincarnated. Originally, the Western religion had plenty of time to prepare for the journey to the west. But Wuxian and the battle between the apes and monkeys made them extremely short on time. After Ji Yin's clone saw Jin Shanzi, he used the power of the great Dao to lure him into Buddhism without hesitation. Ji Yin's clone he has already reached the state of attainment, and this matter is naturally not a problem for him. Then, Ji Yin directly used the method of awakening and initiation. All the teachings of Western religion were poured into Zhang Luer's mind. The power of the Great Road Zhang Luer couldn't resist at all. Manjusri, Guanyin, Zhang Luer has been extradited to Buddhism by us now. Zhang Luer, you don't need to worry about it. Quickly give birth to my Buddhist influence among the human race, so as to stimulate the human race's desire to travel to the west. He led the way towards Manjusri and Guanyin. Yes, leader, Guanyin and Manjusri nodded quickly. If this incident happens to you two again when you are on a business trip, I will definitely not forgive you and send you to the Buddhist Moko purgatory. Ji Yin said with an unusually serious look on his face. Guanyin and Manjusri immediately stiffened when they heard about Moko purgatory. Moko purgatory is a place where Western religion severely punish Buddhist disciples. There is great terror there. Anyone who has gone there, none of the Buddha's disciples have ever come back. Both Manjusri and Guanyin are extremely afraid of them. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the Great Way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 205. All living things. Whether it is an ordinary human race or a high-level creature. Once you have fear in your heart, you need someone reliable and safe to do things. Guanyin and Manjusri, since they were frightened by Moko purgatory. The two of them followed Ji Yin's instructions and strengthened the influence of Buddhism among the human race. For a year, the two of them never stopped for a day. All kinds of propaganda, all kinds of miracles. Today, Buddhism is accepted among the human race. Jin Shanzi was reincarnated as Zhang Luer, and under the arrangement of the Western Church, he successfully became the emperor's younger brother. In an extremely short period of time, Zhonglue became the belief of the entire human race. My dear brother, this is a long journey, so please take care. Outside the imperial city, the emperor of Tang brought hundreds of civil and military officials to see Zhonglue off. With a white horse and monk's clothes, Zhonglue finally began his journey to the west. Senior brother, journey to the west has finally begun, Zunti breathed a sigh of relief and said. Yes, after journey to the west, our Western religion is waiting for its great success, Ji Yin nodded. The two of them watched Zhonglue walking towards the normal road of journey to the west. Their hanging hearts were finally relieved. Senior brother, Zhonglue has begun his journey to the west. Should we inform the unknown Taoist Sun Wukong and ask him to go and protect Zhonglue? Quan asked. The lead was very hesitant. It was decided that Sun Wukong would be one of the characters in Journey to the West. However, they really don't want Sun Wukong to participate. Because there is an unknown Taoist behind Sun Wukong. This unknown Taoist master and disciple are involved, they are really difficult to grasp. Senior brother, otherwise, we wouldn't tell Sun Wukong, Zunti thought for a while and suggested. Don't tell Sun Wukong? So what if the unknown Taoist gets angry? Ji Yin asked, his face turned pale. Senior brother, although Taoist patriarch previously said that Sun Wukong should participate in Journey to the West, and we agreed, Taoist patriarch did not say that we should invite him, Sun Wukong, at the beginning of Journey to the West, and the unknown Taoist didn't say that either. Journey to the West can be a matter of luck and opportunity. If they themselves are not active, then who can blame them? Zunti said very reasonably. Ji Yin thought for a moment. They were not wrong in not telling Sun Wukong. It would be great if Sun Wukong didn't go to Journey to the West in the end. Okay, just follow what my junior brother said. Ji Yin nodded quickly. During the Ji Xiao, the actions of Ji Yin and Zunti have naturally fallen into Tongtian's eyes. These two people actually wanted Sun Wukong not to know about the journey to the west, so as not to go to the west. It seems that these two people have not been taught enough lessons. Tongtian said indifferently. It is clear that Sun Wukong has been destined to travel to the west, and now he still wants to use such despicable methods. However, Tongtian is not angry. Because there is no need to be angry. After the journey to the west, whether the Western sect exists or not depends on Tongtian. Just a thought. Ji Yin and Zunti didn't notify them, but how could Tongtian not notify them? Sun Wukong, the journey to the west has begun. You immediately go to the borderland of the human Tang kingdom to wait. There will be a Buddhist named Tang Santang. You protect him on his journey to the west. Remember, there will be many mountain spirits and wild monsters along the way to the west. You don't need to worry about anything else, just kill them all. A message came directly to the flower and fruit mountain. Sun Wukong, who was enjoying the fairy fruit spirit wine in the water curtain cave, heard the sound and a smile appeared on his face. Sun Wukong is a master who can't rest. After hundreds of years of idleness, he also felt a little tired of it. Now Journey to the West has finally arrived. Finally he has something to make a fuss about. Yes, teacher, disciple, let's go now. Sun Wukong responded. Then he summoned a group of monkeys. Listen, today the king of Japan will go to play for a while, you guys will guard Huaguo Mountain, I understand, Sun Wukong shouted to the monkeys. Yes, your majesty. The monkeys nodded quickly. In the previous life, Sun Wukong was suppressed by the Five Fingers Mountain and had to resort to seeking scriptures. But now, Sun Wukong directly said to go play. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 206 I am afraid that only Sun Wukong is the only one who regards Journey to the West as a play. Sun Wukong's somersault cloud magical power was used, but it only took a moment. We have already arrived at the border of the Tang kingdom of the human race. It seems that the golden cicada hasn't arrived yet, so I'll wait here for a while. The place where Sun Wukong landed was originally the place where Wuzishan suppressed him. In the journey to the west in his previous life, Sun Wukong was crushed so miserably. For 500 years, there was molten iron and copper flowing every day. To be honest, no one could withstand that feeling. It is Sun Wukong who was born from heaven and earth. If it were any other person, he would have been driven crazy all his life. However, the previous life was the previous life. In this life, Sun Wukong was very comfortable. He lay casually on a hilltop with his legs crossed and a fairy fruit beside him. Spiritual wine, while enjoying it, while waiting. Although Tang Santang was introduced to Buddhism by Jiyin and Zunti, his cultivation level was low. But this is not to blame Tang Santang. Mainly Jiyin and Zunti, because he was introduced to Buddhism by Jiyin and Zunti. Wuzishan and the Brachiosaurus were seriously injured and had no energy to use their great supernatural powers to help Tang Santang improve his cultivation. First of all, Santang was a little stronger than ordinary people. He walked all the way from the capital of Tang to the border of Tang. For a year. This year, Tang Santang was very miserable. But Sun Wukong was very comfortable. The fairy fruit and wine never stopped. This Sun Wukong is so outrageous. We, the Westerners, taught Tang Santang to practice asceticism all the way, but he actually enjoyed it so much. In the Western religion, Zunti said, very displeased. Originally, neither Jiyin nor Zunti planned to inform Sun Wukong, hoping that Sun Wukong would miss the journey to the west because he didn't know that journey to the west was about to start. But who knew that the first time Sun Wukong would start his journey to the west again? It appeared in one day. Moreover, it wandered around in a state of enjoyment every day. Whether it was Zunti or Jiyin, it was very unpleasant to see. But there was nothing they could do. This Sun Wukong is a disciple of the unknown Taoist. There is nothing we can do about the unknown Taoist. Forget it, junior brother, let him go, as long as nothing happens beyond our expectations. Jiyin said with a very helpless expression. Yin was really helpless. He looked unhappy, but he couldn't do anything to him, so he had to let it go. Tang Santang walked, and finally arrived at the borderland. And Sun Wukong has already noticed Tang Santang. Although Sun Wukong does not know Tang Santang, he recognizes the monk's robe that Tang Santang is wearing. He used to receive Yin and Zunti, and it is the same one that was passed down. Seeing this monk's robe, there is no need to move. With his brain, he could know that this was Tang Santang who obtained the scriptures. Sun Wukong was not anxious at all. When Tang Santang passed by, Sun Wukong shouted towards him, "Come up, that monk, I have something to tell you." Tang Santang held the white horse and listened immediately. He raised his head and looked at the top of the mountain next to him. He saw a monkey sitting on the top of the mountain, and asked him to go up. Monkeys can talk and tell the truth. They have already let him go. He was surprised. The monkey even let him go up and tell him something, which made him even more different. He was thinking, what is a monkey doing to him? Didn't you hear that the king was talking to you? Sun Wukong was not very patient. Seeing that Tang Santang didn't reply, he shouted quickly. Inadvertently, a fierce aura appeared. Sun Wukong is the great Luo Jingxian, Tang Santang is just an ordinary person, and the white horse is just an ordinary creature. How can he bear it? Can you withstand the ferocious aura that Sun Wukong appears? Hiss. The white horse was frightened and ran away. Tang Santang also had a look of fear on his face. What does Sun Wukong want to do when he falls to the ground? The Western cult, Jiyin, and Zunti are speechless. Although you are a disciple of the unknown Taoist, we have already agreed that you will protect the Western cult members from traveling westward. Now, this is not called protection, but more like intimidation. You monk, you are so cowardly. Give it to me, come up. Sun Wukong stretched out his hand and grabbed it. Tang Santang's body flew straight up in the air, and in the blink of an eye, he landed directly in Sun Wukong's hands. Seeing this scene, Jiyan and Zunti were stunned for a moment. Senior brother, Sun Wukong wants to kill Jin Shanzi and reincarnate, right? Zunti asked with a stiff face. Let's take a look first. If this is really the case, let's take action quickly. Jiyan said quickly. It would be embarrassing if Tang Santang was killed by Sun Wukong at the beginning of the journey to the west. Their plan for the journey to the west would have to be planned again. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the Great Way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 207. Of course Sun Wukong would not kill Tang Monk. His teacher had already told him to protect Tang Santang on his journey to the west, so naturally he would not disobey it. Moreover, if you kill something as fun as Journey to the West, you are not killing the game yourself. Sun Wukong would never be able to do such a stupid thing. Tang Santang looked at Sun Wukong with a very frightened expression. What are you going to do? Tang Santang said with trembling words. Why are you panicking, monk? I won't eat you, Sun Wukong said, and he let go of Tang Santang with one hand. It was better not to let go, but this time he let go. Tang Santang's face was even more frightened. This is on a cliff, and Sun Wukong has great abilities. He can stand here without fear. But Tang Santang was different. He didn't have any skills. You monk is really a coward, don't worry, I am here, you can't fall down. Sun Wukong waved his hand, and a stone bench appeared on the cliff. Tang Santang, who had no place to grab, quickly sat down. After sitting down, he finally felt a little calmer. His heart was calm. But he was with the important task of learning from the past. Sitting on the top of a mountain is no big deal. Monkey King, can you let the young monk go? The young monk has to go to the west, Tang Santang said to Sun Wukong. I know that you are going to the west, but there is no need to worry. Come, let's eat some fruit and drink some fairy wine first. Sun Wukong said, and saw that in front of Tang Santang, there were dazzling arrays of immortal wine and immortal fruits. Although Tang Santang's cultivation level was average, the immortal fruit and immortal wine contained strong immortal energy. How could he not see that this was not an ordinary product? Thanks to the Monkey King for his kindness, the young monk cannot drink alcohol or eat human fruit for no reason. Tang Santang shook his head quickly and said. You monk, you are so ignorant. This fruit and wine are both good things. Eating them will be good for you. Sun Wukong is an impatient person. He has good intentions, but Tang Santang still doesn't want him. This makes Sun Wukong a little angry. Today, if you don't eat my fruit and drink my wine, you can't even think about it anymore. Don't even think about learning from the experience. Sun Wukong finished speaking loudly. Then, he started to feast on wine and fruits. When Westerners saw this scene, both Jiyan and Zunti were stunned. Senior brother, what on earth is Sun Wukong going to do? Quan asked. I don't know either. Jiyan shook his head. Both Jiyan and Zunti were very big-headed. You just followed the journey to the west to learn the scriptures. Why did you have to force Tang Santang to sit and eat fruits and drink wine? It's okay to eat fruits. Drinking wine is a Buddhist precept. Tang Santang was anxious to learn scriptures and complete his great task. But the Monkey King in front of him had to let him drink wine and eat fruits. Tang Santang was also extremely puzzled. I am a monk who is studying scriptures, why do you have to pull me along? I don't understand. I don't understand, we still have to learn from it. We can't really waste time on this mountain all the time. Monkey King, if the little monk eats some fruit, can you let him go afterward? Tang Santang said. You have to drink alcohol after eating fruit. This is how I make friends on the mountain. If there is anything missing, it is not giving me face, Sun Wukong said. Jiyan and Zunti almost collapsed. After working together for a long time, are you making friends? But this method of making friends is really unusual. This. Tang Santang said hesitantly, the Monkey King wants to make friends with the young monk. It is the young monk's honor, but the young monk is a monk and cannot drink alcohol. Can't drink. Sun Wukong rolled his eyes. He thought to himself, it's impossible. As for Jiyan Zunti, when he tried to suppress him in Huiguo Mountain last time, Sun Wukong smelled the alcohol in their mouths. Jiyan and Zunti, he is the leader of the Western religion. The leader drinks, but does not let the people below him drink. This seems unreasonable to Sun Wukong. If Sun Wukong drinks, the monkeys under him have to drink. Don't try to lie to me. The leaders of your sect all drink alcohol. What other rules do you have against drinking? Drink quickly. After drinking, let's make friends and talk about business. Sun Wukong said loudly. Sun Wukong is not a polite master, and his voice is never too low. He must give a meal when he is introduced. They are drinking. But he once thought that the 6 roots of mortals are impure, so in order to avoid disaster, he made a decision, the commandment not to drink. But unexpectedly, Sun Wukong caught this commandment today, and he still wants to hold on to this rhythm. Monkey King, the young monk absolutely cannot drink alcohol. This is the precept of a young monk. If he drinks alcohol, his practice will be ruined. Tang Santang said. It's not Tang Santang's fault, it's mainly because Jiyan and Zunti said when they arrived that anyone who touches the sect's precepts will have their cultivation completely ruined and will be expelled from the section. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 208. No, I don't care so much, I have to drink wine. Sun Wukong refused to give up. The Monkey King asked, but the little monk really couldn't do it. Tang Santang shook his head helplessly. If you can't do it, then stay here on the mountain. When can you do it? When will this matter be over? Sun Wukong said coldly. This is embarrassing. Tang Santang didn't want to violate the precepts of Western religion. But Sun Wukong had to force him. During the interception of teachings, Tong Tien, these 2 disciples of yours almost made me laugh to death. Nu Wa covered her mouth and smiled sweetly. To be honest, Tong Tien did not expect this scene. This Sun Wukong was miserably plotted by all parties in his previous life. During the entire journey to the west, he did not perform outstandingly. However, this life is different. This forced Tang Santang to drink, and he couldn't stop drinking. He obviously let himself go. Although Jin Shanzichuanji has not yet practiced his skills, he has already passed on his teachings. As long as he opens his past memories, Jin Shanzi will, the reincarnation of Zi must be classified as Jijiao. After all, Sun Wukong is the senior brother of Jin Shanzi's reincarnation. This senior brother forced his junior brother to drink, which made Tong Tien feel embarrassed. Tong Tien really wanted to tell Sun Wukong, this is your junior brother, please take it easy. However, in order to reverse the journey to the west, the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi and his own affairs cannot be exposed. Therefore, Tong Tien can only watch the reincarnation of Jin Shanzi being punished by Sun Wukong. Western religion. Jiyan and Zunti are now one and the same. 10 old. Senior brother, what should we do? This monkey keeps pestering me, Zunti said depressedly. With a headache, Zunti thought for a while. Then he said, junior brother, how about we cancel the commandment against drinking in this sect? Ah! The precepts in the religion are just rules and regulations. Can they be cancelled? Just give me a meal. Junior brother, just do it. Jiyin obviously has no choice. How can this be possible when a good plan for the journey to the west is stopped by a commandment? After thinking about it, Jiyin has the only choice to cancel this commandment. Only in this way can Tang Santang be able to drink and travel to the west like this. Only then can we continue. To be honest, Jiyin really hates Sun Wukong at this moment. Because of Sun Wukong, his Western teachings want to cancel a commandment. Now cancelling the commandments at will is equivalent to losing the majesty of their sect. At the same time, if this commandment is cancelled, there will probably be disasters in the future. Then just follow what the senior brother said. Zunti nodded. Today, our Western sect has cancelled the precept of abstinence from alcohol. Anyone in our Western sect can drink alcohol. The sound of a great avenue appeared across the sky and spread throughout the wilderness in an instant. I'll go, what's going on? Once the commandments are set, they can be cancelled at will. When did Western religion become so undisciplined? What happened to the two saints Jiyin and Zunti? Have you let go? The great masters of the prehistoric times have been discussing endlessly. To be honest, fortunately, the great masters of the prehistoric times don't know why the Western religion cancelled the precept of abstinence from alcohol. Otherwise, each of them would definitely laugh at dozens of Yuanhui. Among the Ji sects, Nuwa is the best. It's very clear why Jiyin and Zunti cancelled their abstinence from alcohol. Now Nu Wa is smiling from ear to ear. To be honest, if Nu Wa were an ordinary person, she would probably die from laughing. On the cliff on the border of the Tang kingdom of the human race. You monk must have heard this too. Your leader has cancelled the precepts to abstain from drinking, so drink up quickly. Sun Wukong shouted towards Tang Santang. Tang Santang was extremely puzzled now. What is going on? The precepts he had received for many years were cancelled like this? Tang Santang was a little uncertain. Although the leader cancelled the precepts, he was still a little uneasy. Dare to drink? What is this reincarnation of Jin Shanzi doing? We have cancelled the precepts, why is he still hesitating? Jiyin and Zunti were so depressed that they almost went berserk. You monk, if you don't drink, you won't be able to leave today, Sun Wukong threatened again. Tang Santang hesitated again and again. He thought in his mind that if he didn't drink today, he might really not be able to obtain enlightenment. Anyway, the precepts have been cancelled, so it doesn't matter if he drinks this wine. Young monk, thank you Monkey King for your kindness. Tang Santang finally served the wine glass in front of everyone's expectations. In front of everyone's eyes, he drank a glass of immortal wine in one gulp. After receiving Yin and Zunti, their hearts finally relaxed. They were thinking in their hearts, next, Sun Wukong should be able to protect Tang Monk on his journey to the west, right? However, the next second, Tang Santang, who drank a glass of immortal wine, passed out and fell to the ground. This scene left Jiyin and Zunti confused. Tang Santang, why did he fall to the ground? Could it be that Sun Wukong poisoned him and harmed him? Thinking of this, the two of them immediately panicked. This is their plan to travel to the west. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoyan. Chapter 209. It is impossible to poison. The reason why Tang Santang fainted after drinking 1 cup. There is no other reason. This is fairy wine, and the fairy wine contains powerful immortal energy. The spirit of immortality is the smell of alcohol. It would be strange if he didn't faint. This monk is so useless that he got drunk from a glass of fairy wine. Sun Wukong said with a look of contempt on his face. What? Was Tang Santang drunk? Wasn't he poisoned by Sun Wukong? The expressions of Jian and Zunti in the Western sect froze for a moment. All kinds of darkness were in their hearts just now. Unexpectedly, they thought too much. However, Tang Santang was not drunk, and their hearts were completely relieved. After a glass of the immortal wine made Tang Santang drunk for 3 months. During these 3 months, Tang Santang lay on the cliff, knowing nothing. But Sun Wukong, with the immortal wine and the immortal fruit, was able to escape comfortably. But receiving Yin and Zunti, it took 3 months. Why is this reincarnation of Jin Shanzi so weak? It's been 3 months and I still haven't woken up. Jian and Zunti were full of complaints. Although that cup of immortal wine made Tang Santang comatose for 3 months, it also brought him considerable benefits. His cultivation level has advanced by leaps and bounds, and he has now reached the realm of earth immortals. However, even though he is in the realm of earthly immortals, he is still weak on this ancient land. Even those hot-tempered mountain spirits and wild monsters can easily destroy him. What's wrong with Xiao Monk? Why did you fall asleep all of a sudden? Tang Santang finally woke up leisurely. After waking up, he looked around with a blank expression. You fell asleep because you couldn't bear the power of the cup of fairy wine I gave you. After Sun Wukong held a banana in his mouth, he said to Tang Santang. I see. Then why does Xiao Seng feel that there are some changes in his body? Tang Santang felt himself and felt as if he had powerful abilities. This king's glass of immortal wine is very powerful, but the immortal power it contains is even stronger. Of course it will change if you drink it. Now you are an earth immortal. Sun Wukong explained. Earthly immortal. Has the little monk become an immortal? Tang Santang was overjoyed. Don't be too happy, you earthly immortal, in your Western religion should be called a Buddha, but you are just a very rubbish existence. If I want to destroy you, I can easily destroy you with just one finger. Sun Wukong said. When Tang Santang heard that Sun Wukong could kill him with one finger, his face froze and there was a bit of fear in his eyes. Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you. I have come here to protect you on the orders of my teacher to obtain scriptures from the West. Sun Wukong threw away the banana peel and said. Protect the little monk? Little monk, no need to protect. He was a little scared when he saw Sun Wukong. How dare he let Sun Wukong follow him to protect him? Then he would be afraid every day. However, Tang Santang didn't want Sun Wukong to protect him, and Sun Wukong was under Tongtian's order. How could Sun Wukong let Tang Santang refuse? You say no, I will protect you. Sun Wukong said domineeringly. This. Tang Santang's face trembled. This, do you still want me to take action? Sun Wukong scolded. As Sun Wukong spoke, he already showed his ferocious power. Tang Santang was originally afraid of Sun Wukong, and he was even more frightened when he saw his ferocious nature. Little monk, I promise. Tang Santang had no choice but to nod in agreement. That's right. Sun Wukong smiled with satisfaction and poured another glass of wine for Tang Santang. Come, finish this drink and let's start our journey to the west. You still want to drink? The Western teacher Jian Zunti's face suddenly stiffened again. The previous glass of wine was delayed for 3 months. Could it be that this glass of wine will be delayed for another 3 months? Monkey King, can you not drink this cup? Tang Santang frowned and said. No, Sun Wukong shook his head and refused. Then drink it, little monk. Tang Santang had no choice but to pick up the wine glass and drink the wine in one gulp. The moment Tang Santang drank it, both Jian and Zunti were worried. What they were afraid of was that Tang Santang would drink it again and again. Then it was delayed for another 3 months. However, fortunately, Tang Santang had now reached the level of Earth Immortal. He could already resist the alcoholic and immortal energy in the immortal wine. After drinking this glass of wine, there was only a slight blushing, but not falling down. Honghuang, I can reach the sky without realizing the great way, and I will never change my form to author, Honghuang Xiaoan. Chapter 210. Fortunately, Tang Santang was not drunk now. Ji Yinzunti secretly rejoiced. After drinking the wine, Sun Wukong jumped up and landed on the ground. The monk came down quickly and we were on our way, Sun Wukong shouted towards. This, little monk doesn't dare. Tang Santang looked at the cliff with a look of fear on his face. Why don't you dare? You are already an immortal now. Don't worry, I won't kill you if I drop my heart, Sun Wukong said. This, Tang Santang was still a little afraid. Why are you such a timid monk? Sun Wukong was speechless. After saying this, he waved his hand. A display of power brought Tang Santang down. When he got to the ground, Tang Santang looked frightened. Obviously, he was frightened by the scene just now. Now that you're gone, why bother? Have you stayed in this place for 3 months and you haven't settled in yet? If so, I wouldn't mind staying here with you for many more years. Sun Wukong shouted. Tang Santang trembled after hearing this. Jian and Zunti trembled after hearing this. How can we learn from the scriptures if we stay here for many years? The Monkey King is joking, Tang Santang shook his head quickly. Since you know that this king is joking again, why not hurry up, Sun Wukong said. Yes, yes. Tang Santang nodded quickly. Sun Wukong and Tang Santang finally started to go west. Tang Santang originally had a horse, but because he was scared away by Sun Wukong, Tang Santang could only walk. But he is now in the realm of earthly immortals, taught by Sun Wukong after the Dharma Gate, he walked as fast as flying. A few days passed in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Sun Wukong and Tang Monk had left the Tang dynasty. There was a mountain in front of them. Tang Santang, let's rest here for a while. It's very cool on the top of the mountain. We're drinking some immortal wine and eating some spiritual fruits. It's very comfortable. Sun Wukong said, and sat down directly cross-legged. Then with a wave of his hand, a dazzling array of immortal wine and immortal fruits appeared in front of him. Sun Wukong started to enjoy it. However, Tang Santang next to him was a little reserved. Seeing that Tang Santang was restrained, he was enjoying himself. Sun Wukong was not happy. Tang Santang, what's the matter? My immortal fruit and immortal wine are not delicious or drinkable, Sun Wukong stared at. This, the Monkey King is joking, Tang Santang shook his head quickly. Why don't you eat quickly? After eating, let's continue on the road, Sun Wukong scolded. Under Sun Wukong's scolding, Tang Santang took a fairy fruit and ate it. The teacher said before that there are many mountain spirits and wild monsters waiting for me to kill along the way. How come I haven't seen any of them after walking for several days? While eating, Sun Wukong thought about the voice transmission from Tongtian before leaving Huiguo Mountain. Sun Wukong didn't value luck or anything like that. What mattered was fun. But for several days, not a single mountain spirit monster looked at it. Arrive. Just when Sun Wukong felt very bored. In the distant mountains and forests, there were several mountain spirits and wild monsters looking at Sun Wukong and Tang San, as well as the fairy fruit and fairy wine between them. Brother Xiong, is this the Buddhist monk you mentioned? A tiger spirit said. Yes, it's him. In addition, Xiong Jing said. Brother Xiong, do you think eating that monk can increase your cultivation? Another bison spirit asked in confusion. That's right, that monk is the reincarnation of the great Buddha of the West. Eating it will not only increase your cultivation, but you may also become a golden immortal immediately, Xiong Jing said. Well, we haven't eaten cannibals before. I heard that eating them is quite disgusting. How about we stop eating that, monk? Look at the fairy wine and fruits among them. I think this is a good thing. How about we grab them? Come over to eat, the tiger spirit chirped and said with a greedy look. Yes, yes, I think it's best to grab those fairy wine and fairy fruits to eat. I have never tasted the fairy wine and fairy fruits, the bison spirit on the side also said quickly. The bear spirit in the middle was stunned. The bear spirit came here in the name of Guanyin to guide the wild monsters here to devour Tang Santang. The bear spirit also guided them very well before, allowing them to. There was a lot of desire. But it was unimaginable. Just when Sun Wukong was about to take action, Sun Wukong took out a bunch of fairy fruits and several bottles of fairy wine, which immediately made the two wild monsters next to him change their minds. Instead of eating Tang Monk, they would grab the fairy fruit and wine.